It's me again. Don't really, well, I say it every time, but I don't really have anything planned, but I don't even think I'm gonna talk about, like, swords and stuff. Too bad a mood. I don't even know what I'm doing, just hearing my worst, feeling my pretty much worst. Don't even bother trying to look good for this, because not like I did look good for the other ones, but don't care this time either. Especially this time. It's been bad for quite a while for me. My mental health hasn't been this bad in like a year now, since before I started trying to improve myself, which I can talk about later, I guess, but since the 11th at like 10 p.m. 10 p.m. on like the 11th, I've been losing mental health. It's been going very badly for me. I'm sure if anyone's watching this, it's probably unlisted, so you guys probably know already, but it's so much more embarrassing to say it in real life with my own mouth, because it really doesn't sound like much if you think about it, especially if it's about an online friend. Yeah. But may as well say it again. I've got nothing to lose. If I really cared enough, I'd just head out, so. As maybe you know, I have a friend online. Met her almost exactly a year ago, a few days ago. Our anniversary of our friendship was the 26th. But on the 11th, we were talking for the first time in like 2 weeks. I made an off comment about talking to a girl in real life. She said the same thing. Only difference is she's very attracted to that man. They danced. They're very close. She likes him. He almost certainly likes her. They may as well just be dating already. And I hold that person very close to my heart. And for some reason, when she told me that, instead of feeling happy for her, I felt very upset. Why I did, I can't tell you exactly. Maybe it's jealousy, maybe it's... I really can't tell you. Probably it's jealousy. I don't like to think of myself as jealous, but I'm my worst with her, I suppose. Pretty much all my insecurities involve her in some way. Like, I don't really have the standard insecurities that looks, height. Like, I'm 5'8", not proud, but I'm never going to be self-conscious or insecure about it. I'm okay with being this height. I prefer to be taller and all, but, you know, it is what it is. I can't complain too much. Especially since I can't do anything about it except wear tall shoes. Because in shoes, I'm like 5'10", which is the average in Ireland, so it works, I guess. But silly things, all my insecurities involve her. Not that she wants that, of course. She feels very bad that I am insecure about things. And I don't want her to feel that way, of course. She is my friend. A very close friend to me. You know, like, she can drive because in America or the US, it's, some states are like 15 years old you can drive. Over here in Ireland, it's 17, which which I just turned the other day, 12th of April. In spite of that, I guess actually it's a good way to turn the story to what happened. Probably like the 17th or the 20th, I failed my driving theory test, which was disappointing. Even with reassurance that everyone fails their first time, it's okay. Most people fail. It's a little bit humiliating. Doesn't feel good. I swear to God, I hear someone. Must be a dog. But anyway, failed my theory test, so very disappointed in that. Disappointed in myself. Should try harder. Worst part was when I went to the place where the theory test is held. They need you to verify 3 things before they can get you to do the test. I gave my passport, said I date of birth, my full name. Then they asked for my address and my phone number, which unfortunately and embarrassingly, I know neither of them. Either it's me being dumb or artistic, but can't blame either. It's my own fault at the end of the day. I didn't learn them, so my bad. Didn't know my address. I guessed my father's address, which I know is very close, but I don't know the number on his door. I think it's the 16th, but no, it's the 6th. I know his address, maybe, kind of. If you ask me to write it for you, I might be able to get it, but too late now. Next time I do it, I'll probably remember, but it hurts to fail. I usually don't fail at things, so failing at something, especially something I'm very confident in, it's almost a reality check, but the only thing I get from it is disappointment and knowing that I have to do it again. Could be even worse next time. I might pass it next time, but 31 when you need 35 isn't good enough. So I'll have to try it again. I'll have to study up. How will I study again? I don't know. I've been studying a year already, but that wasn't enough. Anyway, that was only one day. It doesn't bother me too much, but the day it happened, I was pretty upset about it, obviously. What else is there? I guess I can just say it today. It's not like it's gonna affect my mental health forever. It's just gonna affect me for today, or for a few hours at least. I fell asleep on my chair for an hour after eating dinner. And when I wake up after falling asleep, I'm usually fine, but if I didn't want to fall asleep, if I didn't mean to, I will be pretty upset. I'll wake up in a mood. Very dehydrated too. It's a very bad feeling. Today was even worse because it was 26 degrees out. I was under a blanket in a very warm onesie, so I was sweating as well, so it was a very rude awakening. Sad but bad. Overall, I'm just having a bad time. I used to have a very good mindset, very happy. These past 2 weeks now, it's not been so well, but I'll get over it. I'll get over it, I'll be happy again, and I'll try to be better. That's all you can do. That's all there is to it. Doesn't mean I'm gonna be happy as I was before anyway, as happy. I swear to God, I hear something. I must be schizo because I hear something, but anyway. All these negative feelings have just made me think more negative feelings, which just make me think worse overall. You know, I usually don't say I hate life. I don't want to say I hate it now. It's not that bad. I still have a good life. I'm very privileged, very fortunate. Sure, things could be better, but at the end of the day, it could be much worse for me. Doesn't mean it's great, but you don't compare good things. You don't compare bad things to bad things. You compare bad things to good things. Because I could make the argument all day that I have it better than someone else, but at the end of the day, I still have problems that saying it's not as bad as it is isn't going to solve. I don't really know how to solve this except just get on with it. That's all you can do for something like this. Whatever emotions I'm feeling, that is. Still not entirely sure. Everyone says I liked her, Coco friend, romantically. I still don't think so, but you know, I don't want to think that. I just want to be her friend, and that's all I want to be with her. But I don't know why I feel this way otherwise. But as I was saying, all these negative emotions have made me think more negative emotions. That's how bad mental spaces be. Although I try to ignore them as usual, I've been more insecure than I've been in a very long time. And you know, about all the things I said I was, driving, how smart I am. I said I like I'm smart. How smart I am compared to Coco friend. I feel quite dumb. I feel very inferior to her. Which is a very bad thing to be thinking about yourself, especially when you're comparing yourself to a friend that you hold so dearly. It's just, it's hard to stop thinking something when, you know, that without really any much advice. As I said earlier, it's pretty embarrassing to tell this to someone, even if it's to myself and a camera. Fly just attacked my nose. Ew. Anyway, it's not something I want to tell my parents. I'll never tell my dad about it, that's for sure. My mom has asked what's wrong many times now. Somehow she knew it was online friends. I guess it's obvious. But I don't really want to tell her. I barely want to tell anyone as it is online or in real life because, you know, it's just embarrassing. No matter how many times I tell the story, it's not going to make myself feel better, you know. It just takes time to get over it, but, you know, how much time will it take? Taking time for something doesn't make it easy. Like, you know, that's what's going to happen. You have to take time. And in time will heal you, but it's a slow process. These last 2 weeks since I've heard about it from her, being very hard on my mental health. And I know it will get better, but they say time's a great healer, but time is a very slow process. You can't skip forward to get the pain over with. You can't skip forward to get to better days. Just gotta deal with the pain and truth of reality. And eventually it will get better, but, you know, just because it will get better doesn't mean it doesn't hurt the same. All that negative thinking I've been doing has made me think very negatively about my own life and what I am, who I am. You know, like, I'm a loser. I've known that for a long time, but I've always known that, but I really do feel like one sometimes. Some days I don't think I'm that bad, but days like these, I I really do think I'm a loser. Insecure. Very insecure. Even if it's only about a person that I've never even met before, it's still weird, petty sometimes. I have only one friend in my actual life who I talk to without a screen, and even then, there's always issues. It's a guy to guy friendship, so we don't talk about feelings. We don't talk about really deep stuff or anything. That's why I prefer talking to women mainly, but it's the best I can ask for. He's been a great friend to me. Love him dearly. Very long friendship. He is my cousin, so we can't really leave each other anytime we want. This friendship will last for a long time, hopefully. Hopefully, it will never end. But you have to see if things true. I have my gripes with him. I'm sure he has plenty of gripes with me, too. I'm very easy to have issues with. I mean, just look at me. Me telling you all this is a sign enough that I have my problems. I've done many things I regret, but none of them so bad I wouldn't tell a soul. I've told like 2 people about it, and not even the full story. I can say I've changed what I want, but can I say that for sure? 100% I've changed? I don't like to say things about myself, unless they're negative, of course. If I say anything positive, it makes me sound narcissistic and a red flag, and that's not what I want. I already am one as is, Now I have some chance of making friends. Maybe somewhere down the road, make more than friends, but I don't really care for relationships. At the moment, I'm not really sold on the idea of wanting to be in one. That's because I don't have any female friends in real life at the moment, but I don't know anyone personally. It's pretty sad. In the that's so sad way of it's actually weird kind of sad, but also sad in the way that I don't really have anything. If I think of real life, I don't really have much people go to who I think understand me. My dad understands me less than pretty much anyone. I could ask any one of my online friends what I am, and they'll probably give me a better description than my father could. He doesn't understand me. Although that sounds emo as fuck and like it's not phase ma. It's true. Like I'm not ever gonna say he's a bad father, but I'm not ever gonna claim he's a good father. He was. He would have been great back in the 50s. His teaching style is like 1950s. He makes the money of a top 1% basically, but he lives like a college student. Seriously. At least he treats me like I am a college student anyway, that's for sure. Like it's not very nice to know that he's upset when I don't eat. He wonders why I don't eat, why I'm so skinny, underweight maybe. But then when you look through my eyes, you see him eating steaks full of seasonings, and all I am offered is 2-day-old leftover frozen spaghetti that's going to be heated in a microwave, and I don't want to eat that. Like, not just because I'm better than microwave leftovers, but it's disgusting to me. Call me privileged and all, but it's disgusting. And I really don't see the purpose of it. I'd understand if we were a more average family. Maybe if we were broke, I'd very much understand, but we're not. We're privileged. I'm privileged. He worked hard for his success, but he doesn't really seem to want to use it on other people besides himself, really. He loves buying himself vacations to hot countries for weeks, 2 weeks sometimes. He'll go on like 3 a year. And of course, I don't go. Not because he hasn't offered before, it's just because, maybe it's my autism, but I don't like going places. I'm a very stationary person. I'm uncomfortable with going places for many reasons, but, just I'd rather just stay in one spot. Of course, I'm sure that will change one day if I ever got a partner, and a long-term partner. I'd do what they wanted. If they wanted to explore, like so many people do, I'd explore with them, travel with them. But my own wants and dreams, I don't really have much of them, so that's kind of a problem. Reminds me of my hobby, which I can barely call a hobby because, you know, historical arms and armor. It would maybe be a hobby if I engaged with it more, but at the moment, I don't really do much research about it. Not really too keen on doing research about it. I tried before, but in the end, I got no progress, so I just gave up. I don't own much weapons, so I can't practice swordplay, polearm, combat, can't practice with anyone anyway, because no one else likes this hobby. I'm alone, basically. I wouldn't be surprised if I was the only person who liked it, but I know there's probably at least 10 people who like it. I am pretty much alone, though. I've talked about fencing before. Even if I could do it, I don't know if I would, because fencing isn't combat. How would you describe it? You poke each other first. It's not what I want. I'm very picky about what I do. I used to do many sports. My last sport was boxing. That was 4 years ago now. I think it's 3 years ago. Did that for about a year, but the drain it had on my mental health was too big, so I quit. All the other sports I've done before, I just simply didn't enjoy. I was forced to do them by my father because, very traditional man. He loves his sport. He coached for 30 years now, so of course he wants me, his second son, and possibly the only son who is able to do sport anymore, because my brother, he's approaching 30. He's almost out of his prime, and he's focused on business and just making a life for himself. He's going to college now for business, so there isn't really much of a chance he'll do sport long term. I'm the only chance, and I'm sure he'd love if I did sport. He'll see the reasons, mental health and stuff, but anyone who really understands father-son experiences would know that it's mostly because of other reasons. For him especially, it would be almost carry on a family tradition, because my father was a great football player, his father was a great football player, and I assume that other parts of my family were also great football players, or I should say GAA football because I'm Irish, but we call it football here, we don't care. But yeah, my brother, his chance is gone. I'm sure he would have loved to keep playing, but many years ago he sustained an injury to his leg, I'm pretty sure. That kept him from playing for a long time. And by the time he came back, he already had a job. He's in business now. He can't really go back if he wanted to. It's a little late for him. he does gym, at least he used to. He probably wants to go back, but life is busy. For him anyway, not for me. Unfortunately, maybe. People always say they want freedom, and time, but I'm someone who has too much time. So much time. I've pretty much all day. Wake up, have basically 2 hours to get ready for school, because I wake up at 7, bus comes late. I go to school, finish up at 4, arrive back at 20 past 4, then stay up till like 2 a.m. some nights to just do whatever I want. I have all day to do whatever. And today I'm going to spend a little bit of it doing whatever this is to just clear my mind, I suppose. I could use it. It might not be venting to a real person, but looking at myself, talking to myself basically about everything would be nice. And it would be nice if I mustered the courage to send this to a friend of mine online. But we'll see how it goes. Going back to my hobby. I basically don't have one. And that's kind of my only hobby, because I can't say engineering is a hobby because, I don't have an engineering job yet. I don't really plan to get one until I start an apprenticeship or maybe I finish college. I can't say woodworking because I don't have the tools. I can't say felling trees because I don't really do it anymore. And I also don't really find chainsaws satisfying. I prefer axes, but if I use an axe, it takes hours. If I chainsaw, it takes minutes. So basically, I'm just weird. Psychology isn't really a hobby. I do find it very fascinating because, some people are just like open books once you understand that bit of psychology. Is someone acting very freaky and sexual, and then later on they tell you they've been sexually assaulted as a child, and suddenly everything just, I saw that coming from a mile away. Someone overweight or has, well, I say just overweight, but any type of addiction, whether it be in porn, food, gambling, drug, it usually has a source. And a lot of the time it's trauma as a child. Really just trauma in general. Coming under hard times, like how I'm going through, I almost turned to addiction again. Alcohol. I knew I wouldn't get addicted, but, I don't ask for alcohol, but I asked past few weeks. I am, by the way, I'm legal. I'm legally allowed to. At 18, you're allowed to drink whenever you want, but if you are not of age in Ireland, if you have parents' permission, you are allowed to drink. If you're at a formal gathering, you are also allowed to drink. So let's just put down the record. I am legally allowed to. If I wasn't, I wouldn't do it. But yeah, that's psychology. I find it very nice and fascinating. I've been told you should be a psychiatrist, but I've thought about it. It would be a very cool thing to do, but apart from the whole listening to someone's stories and telling them what I think they should do and trying to give them another view of the world, it's basically just paperwork, and I'm not really good at paperwork. I don't want to do that as a career. I'd rather be doing my hands than, forming papers and stuff. It's a lot of work to be a psychiatrist, and the type of work it isn't for me. Here, right now, I'm looking at engineering, probably fabrication engineering, any any type of fabrication I'm probably fine with. As long as it's not like chemical engineering or biochemical, whatever. As long as it involves me using my hands and tools, I don't really care what I'm doing. Just pay me well enough. If things go as planned, I get my dream job, I'll be earning very good money. Very, very good money in very small amount of time as well. I hope to do it through an apprenticeship. I've been self-conscious, maybe. Maybe that's too big of a word, because self-conscious, I'm not really self-conscious about it, but, I do feel judged when I say I want to do an apprenticeship, because there is a stigma around that dirty, easy way to life. And I agree completely. It is an easier way for me. Some people find it harder. I don't know who's finding an apprenticeship harder when it's literally just doing your job for 4 years before you actually would. College is harder to me because of, I'm not great at making research papers and writing and typing up essays. That's not who I am. That's not something I would be great at. Like, if you need me to write an essay, I'll write an essay, but chances are I've rushed it. I left it like the last 2 days to do it. That's just who I am as a person. But if it comes to long-term projects involving engineering, I'll probably just do it right away. I'll probably do overtime if I can, because unless I have a partner, I really don't have much to go home to. Because what do I have to do? Gaming? That's not much to me. Not me schizoing, by the way. When I come home, all I do is game because I have nothing else to do. I don't have any hobbies that I can do, especially ones where I can interact with people. And it sounds like, well, that's your fault, just go get a hobby. And like, to be fair, you're completely right. I could just get a hobby. But when the cost is mental health, when the whole point of it is mental health and social and all that stuff, you don't really want to do it. Because I know if I just do a hobby I don't enjoy, I'm just going to quit after a while. Because, although I'm pretty critical of myself, I don't value myself as much as I probably should. I do care for my health a bit. Mostly mental health. I don't really care about my physical health that much. But mental health I do take pretty seriously. If I'm feeling bad, I make it known. And I usually ask for help if I need it. But it's not nice. Apart from the whole it's my own fault I can't get a hobby, it's pretty sad for me to think about. I won't get a hobby because I don't enjoy anything. I'm so narrow-minded and it's sad to me. Whether it's because I'm just like that as a person or it's because my ASD, autism spectrum disorder. I don't know. Probably is the autism because that's a pretty common trait about it, but I'm very narrow-minded. I don't want to do things I don't want to do. If I don't enjoy it, it's going to affect me very negatively. That's how it works.